So when and where are markets likely to rally again? I know it's a question on everybody's mind because for the past few months, everything has just been moving lower and it seems like the market is never going to rally again. Of course, we all know that that's not true because even in bear markets, we do get significant relief rallies, which we haven't really seen yet so far this bear market. So today, we're going to take a look at the total crypto market cap chart. This encompasses Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a bunch of other assets. I love this chart because it helps to weed out all of the noise and it's also super clean. Now, if you guys do enjoy this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon to get notifications. And also remember that none of the content in this video is financial advice because it is just my opinion. Okay, so looking at the weekly time frame for total, and you can bring this chart up on TradingView. TOTAL is the ticker. Okay, so the weekly time frame here, what I'm watching is this trend line off of the August 2015 low. You can see where it intersects with the March 2020 low, and this level also intersects with the previous cycle peak. Now, technically, a few weeks ago, the market did actually test this previous cycle peak. However, I am anticipating a little bit lower because a lot of times you get that first low and then the market takes that low out, you get that flush, and then you actually get that local bottom. So as of right now, here's what I'm looking for. If we move in here to the 4-hour time frame, okay, there are a couple things happening here with total. To the point where you can see where this market actually put in an inverse head and shoulders recently. And this is something that I've been talking about now for the past few days with Crypto Academy members, where we got this inverse head and shoulders. And typically a pattern like this, when you get the confirmation up here, you get that relief rally. What I was telling members is that I expected this to fail simply because the prevailing trend was lower and it was incredibly aggressive. Now, we also had a small head and shoulders here that formed on the intraday charts. Okay, so that also looked relatively weak here for total. And sure enough, we got the breakdown below this neckline. Okay, so this was a failed and is a failed inverse head and shoulders, which likely means that we head lower. Okay, now how much lower? Like I said, I do think that $700 billion over the coming week or two is going to play an important role if we do move that low. Because remember that there are no guarantees in this business. I mean, the low could be in right now for all we know, but I am anticipating a little bit lower. I think the market is going to want to take out this low down here and really give us that flush, maybe down here into 700 billion, you know, as low as 650 or so. So really between 650 and $700 billion, that's what I'm looking for a potential low from the market, at least a low that could hold for weeks or even a month plus. Okay, so what am I looking for once we get there? Well, if we look here at the daily time frame, and this is what I meant before when I said that we really haven't had a significant relief rally during this bear market. Okay, so you can see that back here, this was the last really significant rally that we had, and this was before things started to get ugly for the crypto market. And ever since then, we had the sell-off here, got a lot more aggressive, we had the sideways price action, things got aggressive again, and now we've had a little bit of a rally, but it's only been about 20-25%. So we really haven't seen that 50% rally that we typically see in a bear market. So for that reason, I do think that eventually we are going to see that more significant relief rally develop. And if there's an area where it's likely to develop, it's going to be $700 billion in my opinion. Okay, so I do think that we have a little bit lower to go here for the market. But if we're going to see a significant relief rally from these markets, this area down here between 650 and $700 billion is where it's most likely in my opinion. Now, before we get into where this market could go once it reaches those levels, I do want to share with you guys, if you are interested in this type of content, I put out daily videos and a daily newsletter for members. You can see the link in the description. It's $1 for 7 days to try it out. And you're going to get access to the daily newsletter, the daily videos, and also the Discord server where I post chart updates and announce my trades in real time. So be sure to check that out. All right, so where could these markets go once we see, let's say, $700 billion in the total crypto market cap? So I think that once we reach these levels, the market is going to want to test some of these levels here, okay? Back test these levels. So right now, you know, you can see where this area right above $1 trillion is going to be resistance. Obviously, it was support on the way down. This was the big macro level here for total. So I know it seems crazy to think about right now with the market just moving lower and lower week after week, but there is a very good chance, in my opinion, that we do see from this area down here And again, no guarantees, but if we're going to see a significant relief rally, I think it's going to happen from that $700 billion area. And from here up to about 1 trillion, you're talking about 60% for the entire market. Now, altcoins could see 100% or more from that if we do see a retest up here of about $1.15 trillion. Now, on the more bullish side, if we were to see, and this is key here, we would have to see lower than forecast inflation. We would have to see some type of a small pivot from the Fed from a hawkish tone to a more dovish tone, and really kind of scaling back in those rate hikes that we've been seeing. So that's going to be key. We're going to have to see something fundamentally to drive this. But the more bullish side of it is that if we were to see a bounce from down here, retest of 1.5 or 1.15, then there is a chance we come up here and test even like 1.6 trillion. And again, I know that may seem crazy, but just keep in mind that in past bear markets, okay, if you notice back here, once the market found its bottom price, we got a 300% rally. Now, again, we are dealing with very different circumstances. So we're going to have to see something from either the Fed, from inflation, something to really drive this market higher and give us that significant relief rally. Because without that, I don't think that we're going to see this market rally, 100% plus. So that's going to be absolutely pivotal, on the way down over the coming weeks. But ultimately, again, I think if we are going to see a more significant relief rally develop, this area is where it is likely to happen. Okay, so I will be hunting for buying opportunities once we see that $700 billion retest. And again, no guarantees. Today hasn't even closed yet. So speaking more short term, this area through here, right around $860 billion, is going to be critical for today's close. If we were to see today close below 860, then I think we are headed lower, at least to test this low down here, but likely take that out and come down here towards $700 billion, maybe 650. So that's going to be key here over like the next week or two. If we close above 860 and the market can recover back above this neckline and take out these highs, then we could see that more significant relief rally develop now. Okay, remember, there are no guarantees. I think we're headed lower in the short term, but there are never any guarantees. So personally for me, as far as more significant buying opportunities, I'm holding off for now because I do think that, regardless of where we go over the coming days, I think that the market is going to want to test this area down here around $700 billion. That said, I think once we see that, that is where we could see a more significant relief rally develop, especially if we get those fundamental factors in favor of a bullish move. All right, and lastly, where could this put Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, if we were to see this market move down here toward this area, you're talking about 17 to 22%. So for BTC, I would say that puts it about 20 to 25% lower. And for Ethereum, it could very well be a 30 to 35% move lower. For Bitcoin, we're looking at somewhere in that $15,000, $16,000 area. For Ethereum, it could be quite a bit lower, down toward like $700, maybe even $650 as a bottom for that market. All right, so I am expecting some more pain here from these markets in the short term, but I do think that if we see $700 billion retest over the coming weeks, then that could provide the catalyst for a significant relief rally, especially if we see those fundamental factors come into play. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon, smash that like button, and don't forget to leave your comment below. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.